Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vidi Diana, but you can call me V. And today's spooky drink is water. Gotta stay hydrated. And this mug is probably my favorite mug, only because I bought this bad boy in Scotland, and I want to go back so bad. It's so the vibes, everything. It's just so awesome and amazing and beautiful. And this cup will always remind me of Scotland. So, cheers. Now, let's get started because I gotta go to work later and I need to get ready now. I mean, I know I'm not gonna be late, but I just need to get ready now so that I'm not rushing later. So this story starts off with a little boy named Amarjit Sada, and he was born in 1998 in, oh my god, I'm sorry if I say this wrong, in Begusaraya, Bihar, India. Sorry if I said that wrong. I tried. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the world's youngest serial killer. He is about 8. He was about 8, yeah, when he started his spree. And yeah, it is quite terrifying to know that this child did those things. Something a grown adult would do, but no, it was a literal child. So someone by the name of Kent Keel, he went to the University of New Mexico. He was a psychologist. He says that when someone has committed a crime between the ages of 8 and 10, that is basically when it starts off. If they display psychopathic tendencies or just really ominous behavior that can even escalate into adulthood, they can keep committing crimes even when they are older. So it's scary. Psychopathy, psychopathy. Oh my god, okay. So that is when an individual shows a lack of remorse or just shows no interest in emotions, or should I say they're detached from their emotions, or also shows extreme forms of apathy towards other human emotions. Amarjit Sada was, like I said, 8 years old when he took the life of his first victim. And his childhood was no different from the other children that, well, were around him, except the thing was that his father was a laborer and he basically made him work at a really young age, and he didn't really let him go to school. And it was also said that it was possible that he might have abused him. But one day, for some reason, Amarjit was motivated to commit this crime. They didn't really say the date fully, they just said the year. I couldn't find what month or day. So he was motivated to beat his 6-year-old cousin and his 8-month-old baby sister in 2006. He basically beat them to death. And that's just horrible. And in 2007, Amarjit beat his 6-month-old cousin, and her name was Khushbu Devi. They said that Amarjit found joy the fact that he had easy access to his victims. The only people that he's killed were family members, therefore easy access. And he would either like to strangle them or beat them to death. And another horrible thing was that some of the villagers and his family members knew everything that he did, and they decided to cover up for him and just not talk about it at all and not report him to the police. You know what? First of all, I can't imagine like a niece or a nephew of mine killing someone because that's just horrible to think of anyway. But to like want to cover up for them, that just sounds horrible. Like, at least get your kids some sort of mental help. I hate saying that, but I understand why the family would want to cover up. I mean, he's just a little boy, but what I don't understand is how the villagers covered up for him, even though like they're nothing of him, like they're not related to him at all. They're just neighbors. I feel like if I knew someone's kid was murdering other little kids, I would probably report them. Because that, like I said, it's just scary to think and it's scary to know. And I don't know how these people didn't get him help sooner. So that's just my take on that. Because everybody decided to stay quiet, they deemed these affairs as internal familial issues. But of course, all of this would later be found out. I mean, how could it not be? I'm pretty sure I think they did eventually turn him in because they were just too scared of him. So, yeah. In 2007, a woman by the name of, I hope I say this right, I'm sorry if I don't, Chun Devi, I hope I said it right. Chun Devi was the mother of the 6-month-old baby that Amarjit had murdered. To basically explain how he killed her, um, she left Khushbu at the school daycare because she needed to go do her chores, and I guess it was too hard to do her chores and take care of her baby, so she thought she'd leave her in the care of professionals, I guess. Yeah. And when she returned to go pick her up, Kashbi was missing. Of course, her knowing what Amarjit had done in the past, she panicked and she was terrified and she began looking for her and for him, but she could not find either of them. Of course, the news in the village spread. They knew Amarjit had done something. They knew he had easy access to Khushbu because of the school daycare, and they probably recognized him as the cousin, if that's how, they let things. But I don't understand how they can let a kid 8 years old walk out with a 6-month-old baby out of a daycare. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I don't know how things work over there, but if like that's okay, as long as like the people in the daycare know that he's family, then I guess that would be okay. But he's still he's a baby himself still, so I don't know. So Mrs. Devi and the villagers confronted Amarjit, and they demanded to know where Khushbu was, and this is very sad. Amarjit had no remorse and he led all of them to where he had buried little Khushbu, little 6-month-old Khushbu. He buried her in a shallow grave and he covered her up with grass and dirt. And they said that it looked like he enjoyed showing them where he had buried this poor little baby. When they asked him how did he kill her, he looked at them, smiled, and said, he said, I killed her by beating her with a brick. So once he told them how he killed her, he said after that he quickly covered her up and he just walked to his house. Since he now had confessed to Mrs. Devi and a bunch of other villagers, and what I'm assuming is some of his family members, they were officially terrified that he would murder someone else or another child. So they turned him in to the police, and the police got there and they arrested him for obviously the murder of Khushbu Devi. So unfortunately, because his family covered up the other two murders that he had committed, may I remind you, it was his cousin and his baby sister. They couldn't try him for those two murders. They could only try him for the death of Khushbu Devi. And he was never found guilty for those two murders, which sucks. Probably, I feel like they probably would have sentenced him a little bit longer, but then again, I will explain later why they did not with this murder. So when he was in custody with the police, they decided to ask him questions like how he attacked his victims, why, and where he would hide them if he did hide them. And they said sometimes he would just look up and just smile at them, that he wouldn't really say, or he would respond to them. And they said that the response that he would give to the police, it would bring literal chills to their bodies because of how horrifying these answers might have been. And honestly, I cannot even imagine what this kid would have said. Like, my brain can't even come up with a response of what he could have possibly said to these officers. So I'm not even gonna try, because it's just a horrible thing in general. And when he didn't answer some of these questions, they said that he would just look up, make eye contact with the cop, and he would just ask for more biscuits. And it became very clear that this was a case of child psychopathy. I don't freaking know how to say it. Oh my gosh. Anyways, a man by the name of Shamshad Hussain, a Patna-based psychoanalyst. Ooh, cute. He studied Amarjit and his behavior, and he in fact concluded that Amarjit lacked total remorse. He did not show any type of emotions to the crimes he had committed, and he showed an extreme liking for causing pain to others. They also said that he had some sort of brain defect, that there was some sort of chemical imbalance that caused him to not know the difference between right or wrong. And for the brain thing, he was officially diagnosed with a brain conduct disorder, claimed to be hereditary, and led him to commit these crimes. In the end, Amarjit was sentenced to a juvenile prison. So according to India's laws, he was only sentenced for 3 years in juvie prison, because no child can be sentenced for more than that. And another law says that a child cannot be sentenced to death or sent to prison, but can be detained at a children's home until they turn 18. And it was said that he was sent to solitary confinement in a mental institution, but he got the treatments that he needed and he got the medication that he needed. Was he okay after that? I have no idea, because they didn't really say, honestly, if I'm being honest. A lot of articles say that they don't know where he is now. This was a very short story, but I thought it was crazy. Here we are to the end. Amarjit Sada was released in 2016 upon his 18th birthday. His whereabouts are unknown to this day, and he would be 23 now. Like in 2021, he would be 23 now. But like I said, a lot of people have no idea where this guy is, and it's kind of scary to know if he is okay or if he is not okay. And if he's not okay, I mean, I feel like if he wasn't okay, then he would be back on a killing spree. Am I right? I mean, I hope not. I hope not. But I mean, I would. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. Well, that is the story of Amarjit Sada, the world's youngest serial killer. That was a doozy. Well, they're always gonna be a doozy, but that was a doozy. I cannot believe this actually happened. It's just so crazy to think. And I actually also read that there were some conspiracies of people saying that he did not act alone, that even though he might have killed him, he probably wasn't the one to bury them because they thought it was too elaborate that a 8-year-old not only killed another child, but that he would think to bury them and to hide their body. But then they're also saying, like, oh, but he was so happy to show people where he had hid the body. And it also led people to believe that he did act alone. So, honestly, in my opinion, I think he did act alone. It's very dark. It's bad. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, even though it was short. But I will see you guys next Friday. Bye.